I'm rolling with FD.
I am rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
We are rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
We got alphas and bros in the house.
That's right.
Peace out, my brother.
Woo! I'm rolling with the F to the D.
Learn something new every day when you're rolling with FD.
We are rolling with FD, baby.
I roll with one person, and that's FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
You gotta love it, man.
Hey, Renee, who you rolling with?
Rolling with FD.
Hey, Matt.
Rolling with FD.
You don't have to ask. I'm rolling with FD.
My man, C. Bless. Who you rolling with?
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
That's how you just rolling, right? That's the whole thing, right? You roll with it.
I'm rolling with FD.
Manny and Jeremy, who you rolling with?
We're rolling with FD. We don't want to get our asses kicked.
My man, Dan, the card man. I appreciate you, dog. You gotta let the people know who you rolling with.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
Chasing Cardboard is rolling with FD.
Rolling with FD.
What's up, everybody? How we doing out there? Make sure my volume is right. We're in a little bit different setting tonight for this conversation with Prevail. He should be joining us soon. Prevail is here. Hold on. Let me bring him in. Let me give him a proper introduction. I've been wanting to talk to Tim for a while here. I'm glad that he's here tonight. And we're about to have Prevail Cards on. Hold on, Tim. Let me get you in here. All right, Tim, you're here now.
What's going on, guys?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Oh, no, I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I am good, sir. I'm doing very good. I'm glad to have you here. I got a whole list of questions for you.
Literally. All right. Let's
You
run
ready?
through it. Yes, sir.
All right. So, what I've always wanted to know, because I ask everybody their origin story. How did they get involved in a hobby, interested in sports, cards, whatever it may be? Walk me through that. And then when did Tim say, it's something I always wanted to know about you, that I'm going to start going out here and buying and selling cards?
All right. Well, I guess I started off in the TCG world. So Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was always around sports cards because those tournaments were hosted at shops. I didn't get into the hobby until after Kobe's passing, so 2020.
Okay.
After he passed, I wanted to get one of his rookie cards. Whatnot was very, very up and coming at the time, so I didn't know how to go to shows at the time, So online was how I ingested the hobby, I guess. So I started to go on Whatnot, do mystery packs, bought a couple Kobe's on eBay. And I didn't set up until I heard about Diamond 9. This was probably in 2021, around the time of the National. So that's when I started. I had a decent amount of cards. I felt like I had a showcase. I could fill up a showcase. It looked decent. I had the skill sets to trade cards and just went for it.
Okay. So Kobe, right around Kobe's time. All right. Very, very good. How did you derive the name Prevail Cards?
I've always had this motto: it's prevail against the odds. It's just a little reminder for myself, something to live by. And just when times get tough, just have that. So when I launched Instagram for cards, I just took Prevail and put cards after it, and just became a thing. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest.
All right. We got Ziggy here. Ziggy saying cheers. Good to have you here, Ziggy.
Cheers.
Big John's in the house saying what's up, and we're rolling. Big John, good to have you here. No, I got to ask this question about. I always talk about certain players. I love Miche. Gilgeous-Alexander. I know a lot of people are very fond of Luka. When you look at both of those players, what do you think, and who do you think is a better player? And you didn't think it was going to be easy now, Tim. No, I'm going to ask you some tough questions right now.
No, you're right. Are we talking about like currently who has a higher ceiling, or like what do you?
Yeah. We're talking about currently and who has the higher ceiling. Who's going to win more championships potentially?
I think
who has the ability to lead their team?
So Luka has the star power. He has like the offensive giftedness. He can set up his teammates very well.
Mm-hmm.
But this is tough. I think I'm gonna go with Shea. I think the two-way player that he is more essential to winning games. I think maybe if he improves his playmaking a little more and can develop an outside shot, and kind of, I guess, round out his game. The other parts of his game. I think he would have the better career. I mean, a lot of people might flame me for this, to be honest with you. I love Luka. I'm not one of those like non-believers at all. I've seen him live. The way he dominates the game is insane. Controlling tempo, he's amazing. But I think if I had to bet my life on one of these players winning a championship or more championships, I guess I would go with Shea.
Well, I go with Shea too. So Shea is my vote as well. And
I've never
people can try to flame me, but I just see Shea doing more, and I see Shea holding the ball less while he's doing more. So those are the two big attributes that lead me towards Shea and away from Luka. I can completely understand why Luka's been a draw since his rookie year of what he's done. He came in after being a professional since the age of 14, being pretty much a complete player. A lot of American players have to ramp up. They got to get there. And Shea was one of those players coming out of Kentucky that kind of had to get there. And now he's there. We're going to have a chance to see what he's going to do. I mean, this year I think is a big postseason year to see if he leads his team to the playoffs. They're right now, what are they, number 2 seed in the West? What are they going to do when they get there? It's all good. So talk to me about what card shows you go to and how you kind of select, because you do a lot of travel. Where do you want to go?
I actually used to. I've slowed down on the traveling, to be honest with you guys. The shows that are almost always like mandatory, Burbank and Dallas at the National for me. They're, being in SoCal, there are a lot of monthly shows, weekly shows, so you can still enjoy the hobby without having to travel that far. So I've just been doing that more lately. I've gone to Culture Collision. That's a great show too. A lot of fun, great time. Del Mar is a great one as well. Alex and Wiley, great guys.
Yes.
And I think as far as like larger shows, that's it right now for me.
Well, Prevail, I'll tell you this. Since we started the channel, and even before that, I kind of had a strategy on a mindset on I've always limited my travel. I've always I just thought about several of us. So you got myself, you got G, and you got Junior. That's 3 airfares going somewhere. That's a hotel room. We're not splitting with anybody. It's just expensive. So from day one, we've kind of like kept our travel mostly to California. I mean, we've been to Virginia once. We just recently went to Atlanta for Rolling with FD once. But we haven't done a lot of travel. And I don't know. I just kind of thought from day one, like, man, I probably need to understand how I'm going to move with so many people with me. And that's kind of the strategy we use. I know when we first started, people used to ask me all the time, like, why don't y'all go more places and do more things? And it's a lot of math involved, man. You move around.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of math involved.
Especially with 3 heads, that's just a lot more overhead.
Yeah, a lot more. And then we're a family, so we do stuff together. So it's almost unfair to G if I say, well, I'm just gonna work by myself. He puts a lot of work in on the channel. He should at least be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Just as a young person, experience a little bit more. Hold on one quick second. Hold on. Prevail, my son is over here climbing stuff and about to open the door. Sorry.
Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
We got a 4-year-old on the move here, man. 4-year-old on the move. So Big John says, "Nice to meet you, Prevail."
Pleasure, Big John.
God. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. We got Daniel Diaz. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Daniel.
Ziggy says SGA plays better defense. He actually plays defense. I don't know what that stuff Luka calls. I don't know what that is. Ziggy says SGA appears more like Jordan or Kobe. Doncic is more like Dirk. I could see that comparison. I feel like I even saw Dirk put in more work on the defensive end than I see Luka do. I see Luka a lot of times.
The hardest.
You said what now? Say that again.
The ring that Dirk got, the one he earned, was the hardest ring I think ever.
I agree. He played against some. What do he have? He had probably 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on that.
OKC, I think San Antonio was there, and then Miami. Yeah, so it's just.
And that Miami team, 3-4 Hall of Famers on the team.
Yeah, and he had that flu game where I think they were mocking him or something, right?
Yeah.
Or not the flu game, but he was sick.
Well, what he asked Dwayne Wade recently about that, Dwayne tried to slide out of that a little bit,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had an interview about that. Oh, yeah. We got Ziggy saying Luka sells more seats and more eyes globally. Oh, yeah. He's going to do that. But I always talk about that there is what's cool about sports is that the hype and the what's on paper at some point does not matter. You had LeBron coming out the floor talking about he's going to win 4, 5, 6 championships. But then you had a kid that was having ankle problems with the Golden State Warriors that nobody was talking about in 2010. You had Allen Iverson come out. I was thinking about this today. He's Rookie of the Year. Kobe at that time was really undeveloped. He's 18, 17 years old. I think Kobe came to the league at officially 17. He's 18 years old. Allen Iverson's doing his thing. Most people would have said Allen Iverson was going to win these championships and do this and do that. No, that's not how it went down. So it's interesting. It'd be interesting to see as we go forward what happens with sports and the different leagues and who wins what, because it looks a certain way on paper. But I can just about guarantee you this: there's going to be some people that have nice looking rookie cards today that play for teams that get a lot of coverage and on TV a lot, and people talk about a lot that will never win a championship. It's going to be interesting who's on that list, because it's not just going to be Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, and those kind of people. And Steph has already put Clay and Draymond have put some people on the list that don't have a championship because of them. So we'll see. Kevin Durant almost joined that list. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We got New Breed in the house saying, "Rolling, what's up, New Breed? Gotta get in contact with you soon, man. Get you back on." Pete saying, "Evening, fellas. What about Ant? That's a great question. What do you think of Ant-Man?"
Oh man. So he's proven me wrong. Not gonna lie. He's developed a shot. He's gotten better. I think he's continuing to get better and better day in and day out. Each year that progresses, he's just improving his game. I think that team looked funny to me, to be honest. They're doing very well though. So props to them. I didn't think the Twin Towers or that iteration of the Twin Towers would work that well, but it is. I think Ant is the reason they're working well, and I think as he continues to improve his game, I'm hoping he could become maybe not an elite defender, but like hold your own. You'd be able to guard second best wing player, perimeter defender.
When I look at Ant, and JD and I talk about this too. At least I've talked about it with JD. I just see him as a lot of talk. So it's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of talk about who he is on the USA team, what he's going to do in the NBA. He wants to be this. He wants to be that. People compare him to Jordan, which I don't even understand what that is. I hope he can keep himself together to achieve some of the goals that he has as far as a player. I'll ask you as well, what do you think of LaMelo Ball?
I like LaMelo. I think right now everyone's kind of low on him. I think right now if he could stay healthy, which is with any ball player.
But that's the question,
you know?
Tim. Do you think he can stay healthy?
I'd be guessing. I think it's still too early to say. I think like Curry, right? How long did he have the ankle injury? Didn't he have to change the way he ran and like do little things like that to avoid re-injuring his ankle? You know, like I guess it comes down to the dedication to your craft. And if you're willing to make those sacrifices to stay healthy, or you're willing to change certain things that you've been doing since you were walking. You know, so I admire Curry for that.
I do admire Curry for that. He kind of stuck it through after having surgeries and getting the right orthotics in his shoes. And because I watched a YouTube video on that, what he wears is Trae Young wears it now. It's pretty high tech, man. It straps your ankle in, but it allows the back and forth movement of your ankle like a real foot. You're running, you're jumping, but it doesn't go left to right. So it locks your ankle in, but it allows this to happen. And it has really helped his game. But when I look at LaMelo Ball, I look at Lonzo Ball. And I'm just from trying to be an athlete, you know, at some point in life, it feels like everybody's not made the same. Just genetically, everybody's not made the same. Some people can take a hit, pop right back up. Some people take a hit, probably blow a knee out. And I just don't know what's up with LaMelo. You crack your ankle on a non-contact crossover. That's a lot, Tim.
I mean, it could have been worse. Non-contact injuries could have been a lot worse. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. That's pretty fragile.
Just the fact that your bone broke. And then I look at his calves are almost the same size as his thighs.
Hold on.
We're just going to see over 82 games, over 15 years, can he hold up to that? We'll see. Right now, he's been out 9 games, and the Hornets are not really talking about why. They haven't given any updates. We don't know where his injury is. We don't know anything. One thing he was doing, though, Tim, I don't know if you saw this clip or not, his coach got kicked out of the game, thrown out of the game the other day for arguing with the refs. LaMelo Ball was on the bench laughing.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that video, but I think I saw like someone addressing the team's inexperience and saying they have nothing to play for or something like that, right?
And there's some stories coming out that him and Brandon Miller are very different when it comes to maturity level. Brandon Miller wants certain things out of his teammates that LaMelo Ball is not really on the same page on. So it's going to be interesting. And you saw Mitch Kupchak today went up to the front office. There's going to be some changes in Charlotte.
Wow.
It almost reminds me of what Detroit was trying to do when they sent their coach upstairs, paid money to bring a new coach in, whole new staff. We'll see what's going on in Charlotte. We'll see who LaMelo is on and off the court.
Yeah, definitely.
New Breeze says it. Go ahead.
Oh, I think in regards to the Brandon Miller thing, I think that shows true leadership. You know,
I agree.
You hold your teammates to higher standards because you provide those as well. What you ask for, you're also willing to provide. You know, so I think that's leadership. And whether he's the leader, the best player or not, just someone has to be that guy. And if that makes him a bad guy in LaMelo's eyes, you know, it is what it is.
Totally agree. And you see Brandon Miller's production has started to elevate. I mean, he's been having pretty good game after pretty good game. They're still losing, but his production level has jumped up dramatically in the last 12 games or so. We'll see. Okay. We'll see. We got New Breeze saying, FD, I'm digging the Bulls hat. Thank you very much. You got to rep hometown. Got to rep. Anytime, FD, I would love to come on. We'll get together and have you on. I got a new PC, one of them Jalen Brunson's and Sagoons as well. Very cool. Tim, what do you think of Jalen Brunson, point guard, New York Knicks?
I love Jalen Brunson. I'm a fan of him, and I think if it wasn't for him, New York wouldn't be in the situation. They wouldn't be making these deals for certain players like OG Anunoby.
That's right.
Which, when that trade happened, everyone was like, "Oh, what are they doing?" But as you see the games, as they're making more moves, Bogdanovich, I think recently too. I think those are great additions, and if they're surrounding him with the right talent, I think they just need a healthy big with Mitch Robinson out. And
I totally agree. I actually, when OG came in, I thought, could he be the replacement for Randall? Is Randall going somewhere? We'll see in the future. I don't know. I know they don't exactly play the same kind of way, but we'll see. OG is a hustler guy. He's going to grab rebounds. He's going to do a lot of stuff that a lot of other people won't do. And he has championship pedigree. I mean, he was on that Toronto team that won.
Yeah.
People forget that. People forget that dude has bling bling on his finger. So
he does. And it wasn't like he was just along for the ride. Like, he contributed too.
Absolutely. So. He can shoot the three. He can play defense. He can block shots. He can rebound. He's almost like a throwback player to me.
Traditional. It's like a better Thaddeus Young almost.
That's right. I will agree with that.
With like a better
Brunson is, Brendan says Brunson is superstitious with his Justin Bieber ritual. I don't even know what that is. What is the Justin Bieber ritual? I want to check that out, Brendan. I don't even know what that is. Cornelius Gross. Bro, you low-key funny. His calves are as big as stuff. Check that. I mean, I'm just talking about.
That was high-key funny.
I'm just talking about how we're made, man. Just check them out. I don't know if it's, I mean, Lonzo is a very thin guy. The third brother was the one who was kind of, built more like a power forward, small forward, football player kind of guy. These guys are kind of small. Just when I see guys get hurt non-contact, just like yesterday in the Super Bowl, the linebackers running in from the sideline. Greenlaw popped his Achilles. Just running from the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was huge because when he went out, they just kept throwing the 48. His replacement got ate up.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was a game.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. So I went into it. I thought the 49ers were going to win. But the game itself made me appreciate who Patrick Mahomes is more. What do you think about Mahomes all time? Even right now, he's 28 years old. He's been to 4 or 5 Super Bowls. He has 3 rings, 3 MVP. What do you think of him right now?
I think he's on pace to be the GOAT, but obviously a lot has to happen still. I think he's on pace, but I think this puts him over Montana now. But I don't know, because a lot of people were comparing Montana to like Jordan, right? Like that was
Montana's got been before.
But
what made Montana so cold is he never lost a Super Bowl. It's like Jordan never lost the finals.
Look, record is cool and all, but I think making it there is more impressive. People count the record like your losing streak in the finals against you, but I think making it there is already an achievement. It shouldn't be used against you, and that's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I respect it.
Like what you win 4, but what if you scrub out the next 4, and you don't even make it to the Super Bowl?
Then you be LeBron, right? See, Tim,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. New breed. The thing with the Knicks, they got to stay healthy, and Tibbs can't overplay his players. Yeah, Tibbs can do
Tibbs,
that.
though.
Because he wants that defense. He wants a certain kind of play, and everybody ain't giving that in 2024. He can do that. He can do that. Jello Ball, FD, you right about. He is like a power forward, real cool dude in person. Yeah. We'll see. I still not. A lot of people say I'm harsh on LaMelo. Still not sold on LaMelo. We will see. We shall see. Brendan Brunson listens to a JB song after winning a few times, connected the dots, and is now ritualistic in his routine. Some players get like that. I used to play with some guys who, if we were winning, they never wash their undergarments. Never wash a T-shirt. They never wash anything under their jersey and shoulder pads. And if they could get away with it, our coaches wouldn't let it. But if they could get away with not washing their pants and their jerseys, they would do that as well. If we were winning consecutive games. So you got players who do a bunch of different stuff because they believe in certain things. And like I played with guys who never, you know, on the football field, you got the perimeter lines. They never touch that line when they run on the field. You'll see some pictures now coming in and out of the game. They never touch the line. That's just a ritual they have. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's listening to certain songs. I used to know some guys who listened. They would make a playlist, and they would listen to that playlist from beginning to end before the game started. That's just, you know, I'm not one. I don't really believe. Yeah, it's each their own, and I don't really believe in all that. But that's just me. I mean, I don't believe in a lot of stuff that people talk about with sports, Tim. Because like when people start talking about, I've had disagreements with people, but when people start talking about home and away, like if you're on the road, you can't win a playoff game. I don't believe that at all. I think that's media and people talk about this stuff. But the best team that day will win. Even when people say, oh, they're not a cold weather team. Or they don't play in the heat. They don't play in the warmth.
But the last game did prove to be, I mean, I guess you can't say it's directly like the reason, but they didn't play well and it happened to be cold weather against KC. Right? I get what you're saying with the home and away. And the pass records. No, I was talking about Miami and KC.
Yeah, Miami was just, ever since Miami scored 70-some points against Denver, it was just going straight down. Every game, straight down. Just
but
not
you don't think the
efficient.
cold weather had anything to do with it?
Tim, I just don't get into that, man. You tell me if you can ball. We're talking about ballers, Tim. If you can really ball, you're going to go in a cold weather game, just can't get it done. And you got, let's say you got 50-something people on the team. You got 11 on each offense, defense, special teams. Half of them are caught up in the weather. It would shock me. Have we ever said, man, that guy would have went to the Hall of Fame if he didn't play in cold weather? You've never said that.
Okay, that's what you mean. Okay, so you're talking about career-wise, though. I mean, in certain games, I feel like that is a factor.
No, I'm just talking about you're a baller, not just on the team with a helmet on. You actually play football, and you play it well.
Yeah. So you're saying that's how you determine if they're a baller. You don't use that as an excuse or a handicap. That should just be expected out of them if they're quote-unquote ballers.
Dude, you've grown up. You've played different places. You've done different things. You've been in inclement weather before. This is not brand new. I just feel like there are certain things about sports that people talk about who've never played the sport. That's popular on the news. That's popular amongst on ESPN. That really has nothing to do with the game. If you ask the average player who plays the game, they're not even talking about this stuff. But outside the locker room, I think to relate to the general public, we talk about this. You got to think, Tim. Think about this. Average person, have they ever stood outside for 3 hours in 30-degree or below weather?
Nah, but I stood outside for like 20 minutes and I was dying.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So if you stood outside for 3 hours and ran around in 30 degrees or below more than once, it's rare. How do you relate that to the average person that's watching at home, probably eating some food that's not even healthy?
Guilty.
How do you relate that condition to them? You got to have a meaning to it. It's got to affect the game. It's got to affect. To me, the only thing that weather is affecting is a guy throwing the ball and catching the ball, and a kicker. And I say the kicker more on the plant foot than actually making contact with the ball. And if the wind is blowing or not. But other than that, the coach is going to call different. Yeah, but the coaches are going to call different plays. So you're not going to come out and probably drop back and pass 80 times a game if it's pouring down and raining. you're probably gonna run the ball. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I've never looked back and said, "Man, that person would have been great. They were playing in Miami and it was sunny." Never thought that. What we got here? I think Pat's already number 2 quarterback of all time.
Agreed.
FD, what's up, my guy? Welcome, Prevail. Machado in the house. Good to have you here. Let me get my next great question for you here. Who are your favorite professional athletes, whatever sport, and why?
I'd say, well, I love Herbert, but obviously Kobe. So that's how I started. So I love Kobe. I love Allen Iverson. When the Lakers played Denver in the Western Conference Finals, I was actually rooting for Denver. Even though I'm like a diehard Kobe fan, born into a Laker household. AI's culture and influence was just so like, it spoke volumes, and I was a huge fan of him. I used to just sit there watching his like highlight reels on YouTube after school. I was like, man, but I do like Herbert, and I appreciate Patrick Mahomes. I think everyone's probably a fan of him, right? But I think I appreciate what he's done and continuing to do with less offensive firepower around him.
Do you think Herbert and Burrow can carve out a path for themselves during the Mahomes era?
For Burrow, I think it depends how they keep their receivers. T. Higgins and Boyd are probably going to test free agency. I think it depends on how they fill that void. Herbert, I truly believe so. This may be just slightly biased, but I think having a competent play caller and just, maybe they hit a few picks. Yeah, I think Herbert definitely can. I think Burrow can too. He's already shown flashes, but the key thing for them going forward is the talent on that team.
I agree. I agree with that. I think his whole world changed. You saw Navarro Bowman has just come in on the defensive end. Harbaugh's changed that whole program around, which I'm happy for. In a Harbaugh offense, he focuses on the quarterback and receiver play. So, and
you need a workhorse running back.
Yeah, so that's what I was just about to say. He's about to get a better
missing. Yeah,
Saquon it's going to happen. What if? Because somebody said something about. I think it was a Dallas Cowboy, former Dallas Cowboy. Somebody said something about Henry going to Dallas. What if a Henry went to the Chargers?
I mean, I guess it depends on what the contract looks like. Because Derrick Henry is declining. We're seeing this happening in front of our eyes, So I guess it depends on the commitment and how much they're going to give him. Or, but I think I'd rather maybe target someone who can grow with Herbert, maybe someone with better hands who could, catch some passes too. But we'll see.
But to me, I guess I could see that. But when you got a Derrick Henry and Adrian Peterson, we're not throwing them the ball in the backfield. This is not. What's the current running back? What's his name?
Eckler?
Yeah, this is not Eckler.
We're not sure if we're going to keep him.
I mean, he should go. You're talking about somebody that's declining. He's got to go.
I like him. I don't think it's his fault. I think when the receivers go down and Keenan Allen's injured, it's going to be Eckler, and you're just going to clog the lanes and not let him do anything. I think.
Give me 2 running backs you'd rather see with Herbert than Eckler.
Than Keenan?
Yeah. No.
Then Eckler?
Yeah.
2 running backs. Like, just do I have to be realistic?
I don't care about Cap. I don't care about. I want to see them put that helmet on and get that offense.
Saquon and Montgomery.
There you go.
I think
those
Gibbs
2
is going to
players
overtake them.
Are much better players than Eckler.
Well, because they're more of a traditional build of a running back.
Mm-hmm.
They're less. I don't know if they're less. Yeah, they're less skilled in certain areas, but what they lack, they make up for in dominance and just sheer.
Yeah. If you get more traditional, it's going to be less catching the ball out of the backfield. It's going to be more lining up and destroying people. So we'll see which route they go. Herbert does well throwing out of backfield to the running back. Maybe they may come with a system where they have a ground and pound guy, and they have a guy that can catch or line up in a slot receiver spot and do his thing. But he's going to have weapons. So whoever is holding Herbert or who's a fan of his as a sports fan, you're about to see something because Harbaugh does not disappoint when it comes to quarterback play from offense. Promise you that. Brenda says, a little faith. LaMelo, if he goes to a good team, will make you a believer. No, he won't, Brenda. I've been watching basketball for 40 years. I've seen a lot of players. LaMelo Ball's not doing anything for me. If he goes to a better team, he's going to be more exposed about what he doesn't do. Stuff like laughing on the bench and being a leader and all that kind of stuff is going to be exposed. That's what people fail to realize sometimes. Sports is not just how you play on the court. It's how you carry yourself and what you do day in and day out. Just like anything else. We go to work. I can't be a clown at work and then expect other people to believe in me and I'm a clown. It just doesn't work like that. So you can come out and score 20-something points a game and play. What you got to think, since he's been in the league, I don't think he's played more than 55 games a season. That's a problem.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A problem.
But what about Embiid? What about Embiid when he came in the league?
Well, Embiid
things can
started out
change.
small
People
because
can grow out of things.
they can, but there are more stories of people not doing it than Joel Embiid. Far many more. Just not happening. And Embiid has been a leader or a quiet demeanor growing into a
He's
leader.
equally, I'd say he's about a jokester, a clown as well, doing
I've never seen that.
DMX
I've
celebrations.
I've never really seen what I've seen from LaMelo Ball on the bench. Yeah, I see all that, but he's actually doing something in the game. I've never seen a team. The Charlotte Hornets record right now. What's there a smile about? What's there a laugh about? If I was in a locker room, I've been in locker rooms where sometimes you gotta have a conversation with a person. I don't know what that is. Hornets just beat the Pacers. Brandon Miller was named. I'm telling you. You keep hearing this name. Brandon Miller was named Rookie of the Month. It's going to be interesting, man. Now that the whole thing plays out. Hey, FD, are you surprised the Pistons kept Wiseman? I was surprised, New Breed. He doesn't have a contract coming up. And they didn't get rid of him. He gets something. I would have thought they'd have got some draft picks for him or something, but I don't know. That did shock me because draft day, I was waiting all day to hear him. Where is he going? And then nothing happened. And since trade deadline, he has played in every game 13, 14 minutes a game. Before that, he wasn't playing at all. So maybe they were taking offers on him and something didn't work out. But he hadn't played in like 7 games before the trade deadline. And he's played every game since. So we will continue to see. What you think, Prevail?
Oh, I think if someone's not playing 7 games up to the trade deadline, you would think they're the prime candidate to be traded.
That's right, right?
So it's really surprising that he wasn't very.
Yeah, we'll see what's up with that. Cornelius Gross, what y'all think about Mavs new bigs?
Wow.
What you think?
I was watching was it OKC? I was really impressed. Gafford? Gafford, and then who's the 4? Who's the 4 they got too?
I can't remember his name right now.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
PJ.
So I think those are great additions. Great additions.
Well, Washington
defensively,
cool.
They can stretch the floor.
Yeah, and then Washington scores.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I was really impressed with Gafford in that game. Honestly, he was holding his own. He was being a high energy guy, and the crowd was loving him.
It'd be interesting to see what Dallas does, man. I always go back to your best player holds the ball the majority of the shot clock. How you win like that? Who has won like that?
I mean,
you can't name one player who's won like that.
Maybe not, but who's to say that offense can evolve?
It's not going to evolve as of this year. It could evolve in the future.
No, of course, but yeah, the Warriors didn't just go, become good. They had to work and be, I'm not saying they're going to be the Warriors, and by any means, don't
please do.
I be like that. But what I'm saying is, things take time and systems need to be put in place. And I think the first step is maybe having a player like Kyrie Irving helping Luka kind of learn. He's been doing it himself, being the guy, but having someone with championship experience and pedigree like Kyrie Irving to help him learn the game from a different lens, or just see different things, or help check him. I think that's a good balance, and I think it's helping him grow. And I think they could coexist. I wasn't a believer, but watching it more and more, they're coexisting, and the role players are getting set up too. Josh Green's crazy right now. Not crazy, but not, he's, I don't know. I just saw him drop 18, 5 rebounds a couple days ago, and then 14 points not too long ago too. He's doing things, but before Kyrie was there, he was not.
True. Kyrie has changed the things.
He's cutting, he's slashing, they're rewarding the guys for working hard, and I think, maybe if they could work on Luka's off-ball movement, set some screens for people,
But Tim, it's got to improve. It's got to improve for Luka to get that off-ball movement.
What?
Got to actually get in shape.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about. He looks in shape to me. He's holding his own.
Tim, why don't you pull up his rookie year?
No. You don't understand. Look at Mahomes. Look at Jokic. Look at Luka. That is prime athleticism right there.
Bro. You pull up Luka's rookie year. Now you can say, hey, if he's young that year, put 20 pounds on that, and that's where he should be at. Then he's moving, cutting, setting screens, doing all kinds of stuff. Now he's very, very stagnant. Very stagnant.
I guess, yeah.
My Luka people, when we talk about getting in shape, FD, man.
But look, if that's all you can say about the guy, that means there's,
Hold on, Tim, you're an elite player. Right. But think about it, elite players, we don't talk about them being in shape or not. We don't talk about Shea being in shape. You're not talking about Curry being in shape. You only talk about Zion being in shape.
Yeah, we do. All the time.
No elite player talking
or
about
not being in shape.
Yeah. No elite. You're not talking about Ja. Ja's never coming out here. That's one thing about him. He's going to be in shape and ready to go. It's not. We'll see how it goes. Don't be surprised, though, Tim. I tell my people this. If you look up, and it's Luka's in his 5th, 6th season, came out in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we go 6 more, no championship. It's going to get interesting.
I mean, yeah and no. Yeah and no. I mean, rings, yes, right? In the GOAT debate, rings matter, and rings do hold weight. But I feel like there are a ton of players who haven't gotten rings, but still, I don't think that takes away from what they've done. Obviously, they're not going to be in the GOAT debate. They're not on pace to do that anymore. But I don't think that discredits them and their journey thus far.
I respect.
But then again, maybe I'm just too lenient. Maybe I'm just too nice.
No, you're giving your perspective. That's why I wanted you on here. You're giving your perspective. I respect that. But I just think Luka is scoring at a rate and talked about at a rate in the 5 or 6 years been in the league. He's on a different trajectory. That's like LeBron. You come out, you're 18, you're King James, and you're struggling to win. It's like that can't. And I will go. JD knows. I talk about this all the time. If Ray Allen doesn't hit that 3-point shot, who is LeBron James?
Man, I don't like to go into too depth with that kind of stuff because I feel like there's so much, You could use that for anyone. What if Steve Kerr never hit that shot, or what if what if Ori or Derek Fisher, or like there's you could find scenarios where their team stepped up, and that's what teammates do. That's why you bring certain guys in to hit these shots. That's why the Chiefs re-signed Hardman, or not re-signed, but they brought him back after they let him go.
I never understood what they did, but yeah.
But like
that's like one of two. Kyrie's shot, huge in LeBron's career.
Huge.
That shot with Ray Allen, huge.
What about the chase down block though? What about the chase down block in Iguodala? Or what about the things he's done prior to those games? Or like when he was on Miami, what about that stretch he went on in the playoffs? It was just insane.
That's crazy. That stretch was crazy. That's I've ever seen LeBron.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
Also, the shot from Kawhi over Ben Simmons and Embiid.
A little bounce shot. Yeah.
Crazy shot, man.
Crazy. Insane. I remember where I was that exact day. Everything. It was insane.
Man, I saw somebody get that whole when he's squatting down and they're looking up. Somebody got that tattooed on their arm.
Okay. Probably a Canadian fellow.
Wow.
Just happy.
Wow. Very happy. We got New Breeze saying FD and Tim. They say the same about Jeff for the Lions. Or Golf. Golf for the Lions. He can't play in cold weather games. I mean, I've given my thoughts on that. I just don't. I don't know. Brady is a guy who played in cold weather, went to warm weather, did the same thing in cold weather.
But that doesn't translate. That doesn't work like that, though. If you go from cold weather to warm weather, that's easier, right? Because you're used to the harsh conditions. So that's light work now that you're playing in humidity and warm.
Yeah, it could be harder if there's more humidity, there's more heat. You get tired quicker. Now your hands are sweating on the ball. There's all factors there.
Wait. So you're saying weather does affect your performance?
No, I'm saying it doesn't. I think that's a proof. That's a proof that it does not. But like I said before, most people have stood outside for over 3 hours when it's warm outside. They haven't done it when it's cold. Nate, what's up, man? What's going on? So, Tim, I'm gonna hit you with a curveball. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Who's the greatest point guard of all time?
Magic Johnson.
I respect it, man. Why
influential point guard of all time, Curry. Greatest shooter of all time, Curry. But I think Magic Johnson is. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to your definition of point guard. Are we talking about a true point guard, or are we talking about a person who plays the position of point guard?
Well, let me say this. People make this statement all the time. Chris Paul is the last very successful traditional point guard. Nobody in modern basketball is playing a traditional point guard role.
Halliburton.
And it's just like, who?
Tyrese Halliburton is. That's why I love him.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
You don't think he's playing traditional point guard?
You know how many threes he's shooting the game? No, he's
That's
not.
because they're giving it to him. Because the shot's so ugly, they're like, take it.
No, he's not. After Chris Paul, there are no traditional point guards.
Define traditional.
You said Magic Johnson. You tell me.
Well, when I said traditional, I just meant like a true playmaker who's going to set up his teammates before he looks for a shot. And I think Halliburton is all those things.
No.
He doesn't go looking for a shot. Even when he breaks someone's ankles, he passes the ball.
I watched the game where Halliburton was 7 for 9 from the three.
Okay, when you're hot, you're hot. You got to keep shooting. That's different. Some games you have it and you can't not. If it's working, why, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
That could be the same argument for Steph. Like, he just can't stop doing what he's doing.
No, because because in the Cavs finals, when he wasn't hitting his shots, what did he do? He kept shooting. He didn't set up his teammates. He just kept shooting. Kept bricking and bricking. He didn't, you can do it if it's working, but like if it's not, you gotta kind of figure it. As a leader, you owe it to your teammates to try to figure it out.
Magic Johnson played 2 guard the first 4 years of his career. I always ask people this. He played 2 guard. Nobody talks about that though. He only played 12.
I mean, he played center his first year. He's just that talented. He can play any position, or you can plug him where he goes. But the fact is, he can run the offense from wherever he is.
But is he a traditional point guard?
I think so. But so by my definitions, yes.
Okay.
But because my definition is that it's not Curry because he's just a person who plays that position, but he doesn't set his teammates up first. He's not, he's not a pass first or offensive.
Is Dame Lillard a traditional point guard?
No, definitely not.
LaMelo Ball, traditional point guard?
I wouldn't say traditional, but I think he's somewhere in between.
Okay.
He's somewhere in between, though.
Who else can we think of? Give me some of the point guards. I'm trying to think of next
I don't think there are many that are traditional. You're right. You're right when you said that. That's why I said Halliburton, because I think he's one of the only ones.
Just like these centers today have to shoot the three. It's not. There's no more Kareem. You're not down in the paint calling for the rock. There's no more Shaq. You got to shoot the three.
Is there no Shaq because the game has evolved too far, or because no one has come along and has been as dominant?
No, I think it's a requirement. When you're coming up and coming through, you have to be able to shoot the three. There's no just getting down in the paint and jamming in the paint anymore. You got to
okay.
that ball.
You're just saying you got to be
that ball
able to do both.
Around. Yeah, you're in the game. You better be able to shoot that three. Mm-hmm. I think that's the evolution of the game. Just like I think the point guard has evolved beyond 19, 7, and 5, whatever that may be. In a given night, 14, 10, and 13. I mean, I always say this.
It's not just stats, though.
What's that?
I look for I don't think it's just stats. Obviously stats matter, and that's how a lot of people value certain players. But I'm also looking at the people they're making better while they're on the floor, too. I guess so. That's where we're differing in opinions. It's like my weight on that. Sorry, go ahead.
But does a traditional point guard average more than 22 points a game? I don't think a traditional point guard does.
It's tough to say. It's tough to say because the game's also sped up a lot more. So who's to say Magic or someone of that sort of build or caliber can't do that?
Well, it's not just that the game is sped up. It's the fact that defense is out the window. So it's not just that the game is sped up. People are not playing defense anymore. So 18 points a game right now, in the 90s, you probably average 11, 12 points a game.
So I'm arguing for Magic. That's why I'm arguing for Magic, saying that, if he was in this day and age, he would be scoring more. The traditional point guard would be over 18 points a game, is what I'm saying.
He may be, but let's not fool ourselves. Magic Johnson was not offensively sound. He wasn't pulling up and shooting jumpers and doing.
But at the pace of the game, I'm sure, with the pace of the game being the way it is, I'm sure there are a lot more fast breaks or, just a lot more plays where he can shine. Whether or not he's taking the shot or setting up his teammates, I feel like he would thrive in that pace.
You think he thrive more than Curry did? Come on, Tim.
In what sense?
And the ball hit the net and going in that sense.
No, because that's Curry. He's the best shooter. So no. But that's not the question you asked me. You didn't ask me who was the best shooter.
No, you talked about fast pace and scoring more points.
Yeah. I was using that because you asked me, could I see a traditional point guard averaging 18 points in the league in this day and age? And I was saying, yeah. Although using Magic as an example.
We don't have one that does it, right? Yeah. We don't have a traditional.
What's Halliburton averaging? Isn't Halliburton averaging over 18? Thought he was averaging 20.
Tim, how many threes does he shoot in the game?
Why does it matter? It's the evolution of the game, like you said. Oh no, he's averaging 17. Career 17. This season 22.
Yeah, he's averaging 20-something this year. He's a all-star.
And in my eyes, he's traditional, or as traditional as you can be in the modern day NBA.
I just don't think you shoot those many 3-pointers and you're a traditional point guard. Mark Price, Jason Kidd. I'm talking about traditional point guards. Chris Paul, they don't do that. That's not how they play basketball. They're distributing. They're hitting probably wing jumpers, mid-range stuff, teardrops. Jason Kidd was so cool at his size, he could even get you in the post. If he would have had you as a smaller guard, he'd abuse you in the post. That's what that traditional point guard is doing. Halliburton has got some of those skills, but he loves to step out there. I'm just wondering this. This is what I wonder about Halliburton all the time. I ask this question, and JD and I have talked about this. Will that jump shot that he has make it in the playoffs?
Halliburton's?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
We'll see soon. Oh, yeah, they'll be there. We'll see soon.
Did you hear about that story about Halliburton's jumper actually with Steve Kerr?
No, what's up?
I was watching a video and they're talking about how when they drafted Halliburton, Steve Kerr called Luke Walton up and said, "Don't change his jumper. Like, don't change it. Leave it the way it is. Let him develop and do that." Yeah, there's a video where they're talking about that.
Steve Kerr would be the person that I would take advice from on that.
Yeah, I mean, and look at what it's done. You know, his shot is falling. As ugly as it is, it's fallen. He's comfortable with it. He's taking step backs, like you're saying, hitting several threes.
Mm-hmm. I think they only wanted to change Lonzo Ball because he came across his face. Other than that, they probably wouldn't have messed with his shot.
Either that or Steve. I mean, look, I love Lonzo Ball, but that shot was ugly, and after he changed it, it was a lot nicer. So
you know what I
maybe
never
the mechanics
understood?
he had weren't as ideal.
I never understood why people thought he was a better player than De'Aaron Fox. I've never understood that.
It's just the hype, and I think Magic had to like just go hometown. Like the lore was there, the storylines were there, you know. And I think
you're right.
I think, yeah, no, you're right though. Honestly, at one point, I really liked Dennis Smith Jr. as well. I'm not gonna lie. I saw him with the 42 in the vertical, and I was like, "Yo, like, you know, I thought he was gonna be good too." But that's what speculation for rookies can end up like.
Very true. Joe's with you. Joe says Henry is dust. I think he's gonna shock y'all.
Look,
don't let him get out of
I think he has some gas left in the tank, but I think the light is on, and he's on the last gallon, and he's got to make it to the gas station very soon. You know.
That's it. He's been running the ball a lot. See that?
No, for sure. He just hasn't been breaking. You know, like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is just like running through people, breaking tackles. Like no one's stopping him. He's dragging guys. You know, like he hasn't done that this year. And Ty J. Spears outsnapped him in like probably half the season, I think.
Tim, when you look at the hobby, you've been very active. Where do you see the hobby going this year, next year? What are some trends that you're noticing?
I'm very bullish on the hobby. I think since 2021, the prices have corrected. A lot has dropped. Some prices are even as low as they were pre-boom. You know, and I think with the development of tech companies in the hobby, Fanatics being more proactive, monopoly or not, whether that's good or not, right? I think they're doing more to push the hobby, push the industry, get more people, even like celebrities, into that space. So I think I'm very high on it. I think there's a lot of room for growth, and just seeing the amount of money certain companies are putting into this industry. Like we call it a hobby, but it's really an industry at this point. It's been an industry, you know. Like I'm just gonna keep referring to an industry now, as much as it is a hobby. I think seeing the amount of money companies are putting into it as well is just making me believe that there's more to come, a lot more to come.
I totally agree. Totally agree. What would you tell someone who's getting in a hobby right now? What advice would you have for them?
Just get started. I did Whatnot because before I did Whatnot, I actually tried to go to one of these shows. It was before Diamond 9 opened their location. It was at like this Elk Lodge in Garden Grove. So I actually tried to show up to the show just to like walk it and try to make deals, but like I was super shy, and then I lagged it a few times, and then the one time I did go, there was no parking, so I just left. So I would say get started. You know, I didn't know a single person in this industry when I got started. I just sent it, right? And I think doing that was great because there was no expectations. But what came out of it were like some of my closest friends ever. You know, like they're just great people. I've met some cool people, all sorts of backgrounds, and I would never meet them outside of this hobby. So just get started. You could also value like content and like other people's opinions, but also have your own as well. I'd say don't get caught just following people's plays or just doing things because people think it's hot. Like have your own sense of the game or just understanding. Those two things I think are like the main things I'd say.
I think they're both great advice for someone. I don't think enough people talk about having your own concepts and your own why you're doing something. To me, it's very important. To me, it transcends anything that you do in life. I mean, we're talking about why you go to the gym, well, why you eat the way you eat. What do you do in your free time? Like, why you spend your time that way? Your group of friends, why you choose to be around these people. I mean, there's so many things. Even my children, I try to challenge. Junior will come home and tell me about a friend at school, and then he knows it's going to spark a conversation about what is a friend. You know, is it an associate or is it a friend? So I think that I love that, man. That gets me hyped when people start talking about, especially in the hobby, because I know you've known people who have went out and spent serious money on something because somebody said to them, you know, that's probably what you should do. And then they go out and do it. And then if it doesn't roll the way they want it to roll, they're upset with the hobby. And to me, it's just all about steps. Like for me, Tim, I try to, and none of us can get it right. So we're all guesstimating and trying to use some information. Most people, I would think most people are. Even if your friend told you to do something or somebody that you knew that you were respected in the hobby, that's still some information that you put into your, I call it like a think tank. You put it in there. But I try to actually look at sports. So I actually try to sit down and watch what's going on in football, baseball, basketball. And then there are some things that I call splash in the pan. You know, you put a pan on the stove, you put some olive oil in it or whatever, and you get that thing flaming hot. Then you throw some water in it. That sizzle is most athletes out here. A lot of people we just talked about tonight is that sizzle. Ain't too much substance there. You've seen them before. If you've been watching ball long enough, you've seen somebody come through. You've seen Danny Mannings. You've seen many different people come through. Well, somebody was saying they're the bomb, or some network was talking about them, and the person didn't pan out. And then you've seen guys who just had that grit, that hunger. Kobe Bryant came out as a 17, 18-year-old playing like trash. Kobe would even tell you that. Play like trash. And what I loved about Kobe between 18 and 21, when he was with versus the Indiana Pacers in the finals, he's 21 years old. And he was a totally different person than he was 18, 19 years old. Shaq fouls out. He takes the game over. He starts showing people, you know, how he's built, what he's made of. All those things I look at. You know, what's their off-the-court demeanor? What are they talking about in press conferences? Are they mature? Do I see a shred of leadership? Do they respect coaching? It's huge to me. If a coach is talking to you, what are you doing back? I try to put all that stuff together. And out of that, I find people like Steph Curry. I find some folks. And then I understand a little bit more about who Kevin Durant is, who is some of these other players that are really popular. But who are they really? What's their core? What do they want to do? When Durant tells us, I just want a ball, that's really all he wants to do. He doesn't want to do anything else. He doesn't really want to talk to the media. He doesn't want to get involved in this other stuff. He just wants to shoot the basketball and score points. He's not really big on playing defense. That's not his ball game. He wants to do this, and this, and then leave him alone. And there are other players like that. And I look at a guy like Bradley Beal. He's going to be splashing the pan one night, and he's going to be ice cold for 3-4 nights. But that gets him $200 million. That's Bradley Beal. So when you start looking at certain players, you start understanding, what's going on, and then that helps me make decisions. I think that's why when we started doing content, for me personally, sports watching is so big a part of the decisions I make and how I look at sports that I had to talk about sports too, because. Me personally, and I don't want to offend anybody, I just don't know how you buy sports cards and do anything with them if you don't really watch the game.
Agreed.
I don't get it, but I like that, man. Chet or Wemby? Who you got for Rookie of the Year?
I like Chet a lot, but I'm gonna go with Wemby. Go with Wemby. I think he's shown the flashes of superstardom. I think he's gonna have a great second half. Or well, not second half, but like rest.
Just season. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just feel like Chet's probably gonna win before or like go further, but I think he has the team built for it right now. He has a lot more around him where he could just do what he's good at. Because he has Shea, he has Jay Will, he has those guys who could do those other things. I think once Wemby, and it's San Antonio. Once Wemby gets acquainted with the system, or like more comfortable and playing with the players, and just, I think making the right decisions, not chucking shots. I think that'll happen. And I think that'll put him over.
Did you see Chet kind of slide a little bit right now? I feel like his production is not what it once was.
You're looking at offense though, right?
Yeah.
Because he's still swatting shots. He's still getting boards. But I don't know. Maybe it's hard. I guess it depends on who he's playing too, because he's such a liability.
Why I talk about offense? I talk about offense because you look at Oklahoma City and you get past Shea and Jay Will. Who's scoring?
What was that? You get past them, no one's scoring because Chet's blocking you.
No. I'm saying when you look at OKC offensively, when you get past Shea and Jay Will, they need more scoring.
Lou Dort's very inconsistent, but yeah, I think they also have.
He has the ability. I agree.
What's the other guy from Philly? The point guard from Philly. He's not like insane, but he's high school teammates with the other Jalen Williams. I can't think of his name. I'm blanking out right now.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I know Giddy. I'm trying to think of who else that is.
Well, now they have Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, we got to see how that's going to pan out. Like, what is that going to be?
A veteran presence in the locker room is never bad. I
think
if he can just score 14 points.
You talk about a player that's almost washed up. That dude, he's almost done. He's a slip away from being a commentator.
But I think he'll serve his purpose on that team still. I think what he'll provide them in leadership will make up for everything, and I think that'll stay with him longer than he will be with the team.
Are you speaking of leadership because as long as he's been in the league leadership, or what leadership you referring to?
Or like experience, maybe not leadership, but like veteran experience when it comes down to like playoff moments or just keeping poise or little miscues or awarenesses of the games. There's so many things that like you could teach someone if you've been doing it for a long time. You know the ins and outs. You know how to bait people into fouling you. You know how to, what to look for in certain schemes. Like those things, unless you have a veteran, you won't have someone tell you that kind of stuff.
What is his stat line right now? What is he doing per game? I don't even know.
Hayward?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know, but let me find out.
Let me go out on a short limb. Just thinking about him, I'm gonna say 8 points a game, 2 or 3 rebounds, 2 or 3 assists. What is he doing again?
14 and a half, 4.7 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and a steal.
How many games he played this year?
Damn. Sorry, I was just looking on Google real quick. I just did a lazy search. Let me go on ESPN real quick.
If he could bring anything close to that,
played 25.
Oh, that's cool. If he could bring anything close to that, I still don't think his body's right. But if he can bring anything close to that in the playoffs, it's a good pickup.
Yeah.
If he can come off the bench and give some fouls and score some points and be an offensive threat, that's what they need. Because I'm telling you, once you get past Jay Will and Shea, you got to ask yourself who's scoring each night. And when they get to the playoffs, they're gonna need more from Chet. They're gonna need more from Giddey. And if they can get that, I think they will too. I think they will. Chet shows heart. I think they will. You got to see Wendy how he came to the game tonight. He had like a black mask on with some goggles, and I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I guess he was just having fun.
Okay.
It was funny to me. Hey, Tim, I know you grade cards, correct? What if you do? What companies do you submit to?
I've only graded one card in my entire hobby, like lifetime, but it was PSA. It was PSA.
What card was that? Now I'm interested.
It's so when I first started in the hobby, I was opening 2020 blaster boxes of hoops that I was buying on OfferUp for like $50 a piece, getting cooked. So I ended up buying a 2020 hoops LaMelo Ball orange explosion out of 25 raw on eBay, and I couldn't sell it. People kept trying to lowballing me, so I just I said I would submit it, and I subbed it and got a 10.
That's a great story, man.
100% gem rate, 1 of 1 or 1 for 1.
Man, I like that. Hero says Westbrook averaged a triple-double for what, 4 seasons? No way that guy stays in the league in the 90s with that style of play.
I mean,
interesting.
It's tough. It's tough. I think when he was going for the triple-doubles, he had nobody. He had Steven Adams, and who else did he have on that team? You know, like huge stats on an empty or like on a
he had an empty
not
roster
team.
Yeah, and he didn't play a shredded defense, and he stayed in the backcourt.
Yeah, but I still think it's difficult to get those stats. Obviously, you could pad stats, but like, if that's the case, wouldn't everyone just try to assists? You can't pad assists. That's not a stat you can pad.
Yeah,
you know
that'd be
what I mean?
difficult.
Like, if
unless you only pass
padding assists, that means you're a great point guard. Wait, what?
Yeah. I said unless you only pass your best shooters on the team.
Oh yeah, I guess. But you're still finding them in open plays or in stride or little, you know. But yeah, I agree. Like that version of Westbrook probably wouldn't survive in the 90s. Not probably, wouldn't. Straight wouldn't.
This is an excellent question. The Ball brothers or Giannis brothers? Who's
Antetokounmpo brothers for sure. The Nazis with the Sham God.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah.
Machado, 9 can get 10 plus. Hit the like button. Oh, Machado, appreciate you, man. Machado says, I believe in Michael Rubin. The Fanatics era is loading. Mike got too many connects, knowledge, and innovative skills not to grow the hobby and make it pop off like we've never seen it before. LFG. Tim, where you at with Fanatics? I think you said some things before, but for the people who just got here, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think I've never seen this much promoting. I've seen commercials for baseball cards on TV while watching basketball. You know, just all sorts of like promoting, but also being in the hobby, being present. You know, they have people who show up to these events and they're, you know, they're actually in these. They're in the hobby. I I don't think I knew any people from Panini who were doing that actively. I could be wrong there. They probably could have been, but like they weren't putting in this much effort and money into marketing it.
I totally agree. I think Fanatics is going to do some amazing stuff. I'm actually looking forward to the Fanatics events. I think they're going to be next level. A lot of stuff that we probably haven't seen before in a sport card show setting that we've seen other places. And then we'll see how this thing expands, grows. I think the barrier between the athlete and the consumer, it could be fan, sports card buyer, jersey wearer, helmet collector, whatever it may be, that's going to shorten. You become very thin. We're going to be able to walk up and touch and talk to some very elite athletes probably very soon at events, if that's what you're interested in. Or if you want to go over here and buy a card, you can do that. Or if you want to go over here and buy some sneakers, you're going to be able to do that. I think that's what's coming. And it's going to be a lot more, I think, packed, pool connection points. Like we had the Wemby card. Someone pulled a card, went to see Wemby, get an autograph, talk to the player, get some pictures taken, walk away with a memory and something you can put on your wall, on your mantle, or just talk about. Like, yeah, I remember that time I saw so. I think more of that is coming. So it's going to be more interactive. There'll be more chances for people to meet Tim, Prevail Cards, and pick your brain on something and talk to you about something. And they heard your advice for people that are joining the hobby. Yeah, now maybe tonight they heard that advice. They put 3-6 months in, and they come and hit you up at the show. That's going to be more of them knowing, Tim, where you're going to be at, and coming by your table or having a booth. I'm serious, man. There's going to be much more interaction between all different levels of what is going on, I think, than ever before. And I think it's going to be exciting.
Very.
Who doesn't get excited about that? Who doesn't get excited about seeing Brian Urlacher in person and talking to him and interacting with him and getting a card signed and getting some pictures and then walking over and talking to somebody else, or then having your favorite grading company there, and I mean, all under one roof.
Yeah,
it's kind of an extravaganza.
I'm excited to see what Fanatics events can do. I think the sky is the limit for them.
That's right. Hero 3 says, I don't know if this was already answered, but will you answer again? Who is Prevail targeting for sports cards?
To be completely honest,
before he said this, we're not giving investment advice or buying advice. Just Tim's opinion right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was just gonna say, I am more of a flipper in this current state. My inventory is more stuff that I'm flipping, so I'm picking things up with potential, or I'm picking up guys where I feel like they could make a push or can go further, right? So, I mean, instead of giving you specifics, I would just say what I look for, and I guess you could just kind of plug that into your own formula.
Yep.
Like right now, I'm looking for football, definitely. It's like guys that I'm speculating for football, so I'm picking up certain things that I like, certain guys. I'm also like collecting stuff for fun as well, but it's just less expensive stuff. Stuff that's not going to hurt my wallet if I just put it aside and just look at it and enjoy it, you know?
That's it. So yesterday, I was reading some stuff on this today. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. People are saying, well, it doesn't mean his card prices are going up. A lot of people are going to try to move his cards. What do you think of that whole scenario? Well, what do you foresee happening?
I believe his market's hit the peak. Or maybe not peak. Sorry, let me change that. I think if he's just gonna keep like winning, his market won't drastically rise because the prices are baked into that already.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. So sorry, I just scratch what I said earlier. That's my response to that.
I totally agree with that. And people got to know. The only player I really didn't see that happening with, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, to some extent, it had already happened. But like Steph had rings, and a lot of his cards were still pretty affordable 3 years ago.
You know what it is? It's the lack of Steph rookie cards that are appealing, right? Like if you look at his RPAs, it's always the same ones. It's always the horizontal limited. It's always, or like obviously the NTs are like, you know, grails, and that's insane. But like, how many people can come across that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And aside from like his paper tops and his Bowman, I don't really like many of his other rookie cards, to be honest.
I think most people fall into that. He got
like the
caught
Prestige is
that year.
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He got caught in that situation where Chrome had just stopped and other stuff hadn't started.
That's also why his rookie cards are so, or his Topps Chrome specifically, is in such demand, right?
Yeah.
Because they were inserted into the Topps pack. So I mean, that's cool. I think having cards like that retain value is awesome. You know, like what would be considered a base rookie card.
I totally agree. Machado says Mahomes' card market officially priced out.
And I think that's for now. I think if he continues building it up and he gets to Brady, maintains the pace and gets close to Brady, I think there's another chance for it to spike. I just don't know how much of that will retain after. Because look at Brady's market.
Yeah.
It's not holding up very strong.
Well, it seems like when you retire from a sport, everybody moves. What is Herbert doing? What's Burrow doing? Everybody moves. And not many people are still, like, I went to the National in 2020. I saw more autographed Tom Brady cards at trade night than I have seen since.
Do you think that's because like collectors are trying to move them now because it's like they're into them for low and they're just going to cash out? Or do you think it's like correlated with the retirement and just not being relevant?
I think it has a lot to do with not being relevant anymore. We don't see you on Sundays. Now you're going to be a commentator.
But there are collectors who specifically collect goats and only goats, right? There are people who prospect because it's like gambling and it's fun. But like the people who want to make good plays are going to go for the Bradys, the LeBrons, the Jordans.
I agree.
Although those they hold strong, but there's no movement. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. And then no, you're fine. And then those people typically are not posting on Instagram. You don't know anything about that move.
No.
They're picking up for their PC. It's like a subset of the hobby that's in stealth mode.
And that's what I love about the hobby. There's so many different so many different routes you can take in the industry.
Yep.
You know, like it's amazing. There's so much money to be made, and not like, I don't know. I feel like people should be more worried about growing it and making the experience great instead of just trying to like win a deal. That would, in the long term, I think, grow the hobby.
Well, you know, Tim, I'll tell you this. I told JD this. He says, man, you're an old man. But to me, one of the worst terms in the hobby is that I cook somebody.
Agreed.
Short term. It's short term. And a lot of times it leaves people feeling a certain way that they never really express. It's like getting bad service at a restaurant. You just don't really talk. You want to talk about it, and when you do, you're bitter.
But that word is just so loosely used nowadays is the thing too. You know, like I think people's definition of cook now maybe isn't as bad, but how I look at it is like, oh, I ripped him off. You know, if you actually cook someone, I used to go by Tim Cooks as a parody, as a joke, because my good friend EJ. But I don't cook people. If you cook people, you wouldn't be able to keep maintaining these relationships and going to shows and dealing with people. It's a small circuit of people, and if you do them dirty, you're gonna ruin your chances of ever doing deals. You know.
Absolutely.
So instead of making $20 now, just make $5 each time. It'll build up.
What are your thoughts? Useful question is popping to my mind. What are your thoughts on paying over comp for a card? I've done it
several times. I think I think people live and die by the comps, and as for ultra modern, I agree. Right, like most of the times, if a card is trending down, it's going to continue trending down unless something drastic happens to cause it to rise back up. There's just too much of a demand. Everything's numbered. There's so many parallels, and print runs are insanely high. But I don't know. Can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry, I was just so like I was going in depth too much.
No, you're good, bro. I was just asking you, what are your thoughts on paying over comps for a card?
Oh yeah. Sorry. That's where I was going. So if you love the card, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the last sale was, right? Like I've bought cards that I've want because I buy random knickknacks like Nikola Tesla relics and just stupid things that I enjoy, and it doesn't matter what comps are. But if you're flipping, then yeah, like if you're gonna flip it, then it might be a little more difficult. You might have to pay comps at like an auction house or something that's more, prestigious, I guess, of a marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Sorry to lose track. I was going on a tangent.
You're good, man. You're good, man. But Chalo says, FD, you need some Shaq Attacks Reeboks to go with that jumpsuit. So, quick story. 92, Shaq's a rookie. I buy his Reeboks. The most uncomfortable gym shoe I've ever had on.
I rocked them when I was a kid. I guess I just kind of like, I mean, compared to like Nikes and stuff I can afford now, like they didn't feel great. But at the time, Payless shoes, they're affordable. I was a kid, I ran through shoes every year, so it was just it was comfortable. So Shaq Attacks are nostalgic to me.
Well, I was such a Shaq fan that I wore them anyway. I mean, my feet would be killing me, but I had these shoes on.
That's love.
For sure. I mean, I used to be a huge Shaq fan, man. When Shaq came out of LSU in 92, I'm 17, Tim. Man, please. I had never seen anything like that. I'd never seen a player like that. What he did to Duke and other, I'd never seen anything like that. I always wonder, I know we talk about height now, and why was Christian Laettner on the Dream Team and not Shaq? It was because of the height. He had won a national championship and all that jazz, but you talk about a dominant player. And then when you see the pictures of Shaq in the pre-Olympic practices against Scottie Pippen and stuff like that, you just want to see that. But Shaq was special, man. We'll probably go through our lifetime until we'll be old men. Never see anything like that, bro. An agile 300-something pound man that moves around like a small forward.
I really thought DeMarcus Cousins was going to be the guy. I really thought he was going to be the next iteration of Shaq. Pre-injury, obviously.
I think DeMarcus Cousins is a guy, again, he has the physical gifts. It's the intangibles. It's who is he in the locker room. I've heard some stories about, we saw what happened with Denver when he was on the bench. And he gets into it with, I think, Brown at the time. But DeMarcus Cousins is like, I got a close friend that loves DeMarcus Cousins. And he always talks about, man, Golden State, this team, that team should sign him back. The dude's an irritant in the locker room. He says some wild stuff to people in the locker room. And I think like some modern players like Grant Williams just got traded from Dallas because nobody can stand him. So there's some players like that. But DeMarcus Cousins, before he tore that Achilles with New Orleans, he was better than AD.
Agreed.
So I love him. One of those players that you'll look back 20 years from now and people be like, man, who's that? That dude could ball. Even now, he's overseas. What is he, in Puerto Rico or somewhere playing and still doing well? So,
is he? I didn't even know that. I thought he was just
he's playing overseas right now somewhere. Forgot what country. Papa Jim, development, those relationships first and the deals may follow. If not, you still have a good hobby friend to hang out with. That's the truth. That's how I met Prevail. Coming to shows. Machado Sports reminds me of the Kobe LeBron story. Well, Kobe gave LeBron his shoes and they didn't fit, but LeBron still played in them. That's what you better be doing. Yeah. Boogie Cousins was cooking in the bayou, man. Yeah, he was. He was on fire with them Pelicans. If you don't believe it, hit YouTube and check him out. Two solid humans in a hobby. Card Shack. I appreciate y'all. I'm a fan. Tim, you know
Thank
I've wanted you on here for a while. I'm happy to have you here. I love the fact that you share your thoughts on different things that's happening in sports or whatever. I think you have a great mind. I enjoy coming to you at shows and talking to you about things and picking your brain on stuff. You notice I talk to you about cars and sports. There's not a lot of people in the hobby I talk to about both. I want, people at shows, stop by and talk to Tim, man. Every time I see Tim, there are a few people I tell this to, and those who watch know. Every time I see Tim, I'm talking to the same Tim. And I appreciate I noticed that attribute in people. My father taught me that. I noticed that attribute in people, and to me, it's very important. It speaks a lot about them, and it speaks to me how they were raised. It's important. So I appreciate that in you, man. I want you to know that. That's why I wanted to have you on here and talk to you tonight. And I'll be reaching out to you again in months to have you back on here and pick your brain some more about what's going on.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me. It's always a great time talking to you, FD. I appreciate you. No, I know, like, when you're walking around shows, I don't mean to interrupt your flow, but something I just got to say what's up. It's always a great conversation.
Tim, you can interrupt me anytime, bro. I always tell people, man, whatever we're filming, we can stop filming or continue filming, depending on the conversation, what's going on. Some people don't want to be filmed. Some people say, could you stop? We don't have a problem with that. So whenever I see you, bro, you've done a lot to help me grow my PC. I've hit you up to find out about some other people that have cards for sale. You shot me straight and told me, I don't forget any of this, bro. You told me who was who's good to deal with. I built relationships with them through you. So I appreciate all of that.
Hey, man, I'm just doing my part trying to grow the hobby.
Yes, sir. So I know you're going to be in Burbank, right?
Yes, sir. I will.
I know I'm going to be there Thursday night for VIP, and I may be back Friday, but I know I'm going to be back Saturday, and I'll definitely stop by and see what's up. Well, tell the people, man, who are coming, what are some things you plan to have at your table that are for sale?
I don't want to give anything away. Y'all just have to come by and see, I guess. I'll be splitting the table with some buddies, so there will be all sorts of crazy things. We'll be towards the front. But yeah, I mean, just leave it at that.
All right. Well, stop by and see Tim. Tim, man, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate your energy and your insight on things.
Thank you. Can I say one thing before I leave?
What's up?
Hey, man, I'm a Brock Purdy holder. That post you made yesterday, I know it's all love, but I'm doing okay over here. Thanks for checking up on me.
All right. I told my people who are not on IG, I told everybody to find the Brock Purdy holder in your town. Check in on him. A lot went down last night.
I'm good. I'm still here. I'm alive.
All right. Good to have you, man. Well, Tim, you have a good night.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
You too. Appreciate you for having me. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir. Everybody out there, y'all keep rolling.